It was the toughest case I'd ever laid my big baby blues on. He was a big man with a big suit, a client of the utmost proportion, able to nitpick with the best of them. But now he was laid out flat, knocked over. No, it wasn't a cut in his marketing budget that did him in, not even a 3-martini lunch. Somebody slayed him, just like the others. He'd been slayed with blatant, unbridled creativity. But who done it? That was the tough part. This case was just crawling with suspects, and I knew just where to start. A witty dame known as the copywriter. The copywriter was a cunning wordsmith with lightning-fast fingers and a wit that could bring weaker men to their knees. Could she have done it? You can bet your double entendre. I knew there had to be a two-edged headline in this doll's past, but this puzzle had so many missing pieces. Like what she did during those long, mysterious lunches out of the office. And then it hit me. Even if she did do it, did she do it alone? Or did she have an accomplice? Maybe an entire gang? That's when I came across a couple of thugs that made my skin crawl. First, there was a creative director who had all the earmarks of a ringleader. He was always pitching something and packed a real mean storyboard. Then there was the art director, a guy who would go airborne at the mere sight of a client revision. He could rattle an AE right down to his Gucci shoes. And I knew he was no one to mess with when I saw the cut on his X-Acto blade. Sure, you expect to find heavy hitters like him in New York, Chicago, maybe even Atlanta. But here in Florida, this case was getting stranger by the minute. And it didn't stop when the clues led me to a couple of freelance dolls who were peddling their portfolios all over town. When I asked who hired them, they wouldn't talk. Not even with a little friendly persuasion. But one look at their books told me their work was killer. Seeing the freelance dolls brought back memories. Memories that burned in my stomach like a hot pastrami sandwich from the downstairs deli. Memories of a gal who took my heart and worked it over like an oil canvas. And not even this paint thinner could wash away her memory. She was the illustrator, and one look at her face almost made me forget that I was on a case and she was one of my suspects. I never really did come to my senses until she finally brushed me off. Sure, it hurt, but I never met a gal I couldn't get over, no matter how shapely her palate was. Besides, there were still lots of suspects to track down before this case would be history. And I didn't need any excess baggage like the illustrator to slow me down. My next stop was the studio and a visit to the photographer. I had seen his type of action before. He knew all the angles and his prints were all over town. I don't have to look down the barrel of his zoom lens to know he was in on it. Something smelled bad here, and it wasn't just the embalming fluid he added to his developer to keep it fresh and save a little dough. No, this guy was trying to keep me in the dark. He must have been taking me for some kind of amateur. Sure, he was a hotshot, all right, but I was better. Because what I saw developing right before my eyes was nothing short of a dirty plot, a full-blown conspiracy. The closer I looked at this case, the more I knew that the client never had a chance. This gang was ruthless. After I finished with the photographer, I caught the commercial director just before he and his dolly were about to make tracks. What the director could do with a script and 30 seconds of airtime made my hair stand up on cue. And I had yet another suspect with motive and opportunity. By this time, my case file was as thick as an AE's expense report. There were so many suspects, so much evidence. It took days to sort it all out. But at the end, I knew who slayed the client with blatant creativity. I knew who was guilty of creative excellence. So hold on to your thumbnails. All will be revealed now. Welcome to Addy's 89. The pursuit of creative excellence.